3 सालों में दुनिया बदल गया, सरकार बदल गया एंड कई सारी जंग शुरू हुआ एंड खत्म भी हुआ and India has celebrated its journey toward becoming global superpower. But for 100 days and nights, one corner of this country has been trapped in a time loop of blood, fire and absolute systemic paralysis. 3 years. This is no longer a class. This is no longer a spontaneous eruption of ethnic tension. This is a generation failure. It is a mathematical impossibility that a nuclear arm is there with world for largest military and surveillance apparatus that can track a single digital heartbeat cannot find a solution for a state the size of a city in other countries. Unless, and this is the truth we are going to peel back today, the lack of a solution. This is not an accident, it is a choice, it is a strategy. Today we are diving into the uncomfortable logic of why Manipur is still burning in 2026. We are going to look at why buffer zones have become permanent borders. We are going to analyze the tactical business of war being played by Kuki CSOs and militant organizations. We are going to hold the mirror up to the staggering incompetence of both the state and central governments. And most importantly, we are going to talk about why you, the viewers, are part of the problem if you look away now. My video on this topic are being viewed. The viewership is low. The algorithm has the truth of Manipur because it is in branch cell. But if you claim to love this state, you will watch this until the very last second because the truth about why Manipur has not found a peace is the truth about whether India is actually a united nation or just a collection of maps. Why can't we find a solution? To understand this, we have to look at the incentives. In every conflict, there is a point where the chaos becomes more profitable, politically and financially than the peace. Let us address the elephant in the room, the role of Kuki CSO and militant organizations in keeping this fire alive. For 3 years, we have seen a consistent pattern. Every time there is a move toward a cooling off period, a fresh wave of violence erupts. Every time there is a suggestion of a dialogue that respects the territorial integrity of Manipur, a rocket is fired, a village is shelled, or a new demand is manufactured. Logically, if your goal is the welfare of the people, you seek a resolution. But the separate administration demand is a goal that requires a permanent state of victimhood. For Kuki militant groups, the conflict is the only way to justify their relevance. If peace returns, the heavy extortion on the highway stops. If peace returns, the illegal narcotic trade across the border faces the scrutiny of a functioning law. If peace returns, the dream of a Zalengam or a separate administration loses immediate visceral justification. These CSOs have mastered the art of narrative management. On one hand, they speak the language of human rights to international audience, painting a picture of prosecution. On the other hand, their military wing engaged in a war of attrition, selling villages from the heights, using drones to terrorize farmers, and ensuring that buffer zone remain a militarized frontier. By keeping the valley in a state of constant trauma, they force the government into a corner where separation seems like the only logical exit. This is not a struggle for rights, it is a tactical siege designed to break the will of a state. But the militant couldn't do this without a vacuum to operate in. And that vacuum has been provided with the staggering consistency by the government of India and the state government of Manipur. We were told that 2026 would be different. When Sam Khemchand took over, there was a brief window of optimism. We thought that double engine failure of the past would be replaced by a local decisive leadership. Instead, we have seen the continuation of the same wait and watch policy. What is the logic behind the buffer zone? In any other part of the world, a buffer zone is a temporary measure to separate combatants. In Manipur, the buffer zone has become a de facto international border within a single Indian state. The central forces stand in the middle, often acting as a shield for those firing from the hills while simultaneously preventing the state's own forces from retaliating or securing their own territory. This is the ultimate governance failure. A state that refuses to be a state, the center treats Manipur like a laboratory for conflict resolution rather than a part of the union that needs conflict resolution. By refusing to take a definitive stand, by refusing to disarm the groups that are clearly breaking the ground rules of the suspension of operation, the government has signaled that violence is a negotiable currency. When the state stops being the sole wielder of force, it stopped being a state. For 3 years, the government of India had outsourced its authority to a collection of neutral observers who watch as children are killed in their sleep. Because the state has failed to provide security, the vacuum has been filled by the fury of the people. In recent weeks, we have seen a wave of protests in the valley that is unlike anything we have seen in the last 3 years. This isn't just about Maitai versus Kuki anymore. This is now the people versus the failed state. In Imphal, in Moirang, in Kaksing, we see mothers, students and the elders out on the street. And how does the government respond? Do they send the commandos to the hills to stop the rockets? No. They send the police to the streets of the valley to fire tear gas and rubber bullets at their own citizens. We are seeing a brutal irony. The government is more efficient at imposing curfew on the victim than it is at imposing the law on the perpetrators. The internet is banned not for the militant who coordinated via satellite, but for the common man who wants to share a video of his burned house. The clashes between the police and the protesters are a symptom of total breakdown of social contract. When the police fire at a mother who is protesting the death of a child in Tronglaubi, they are firing at the last remaining shred of trust that people had in the system. The digital gag and the physical curfew are not security measures. They are an administrative tool to hide the government embarrassment. They want to curb the freedom of speech because they cannot curb the militant issues. Why is this still happening? Because the truth is being drawn in a sea of misinformation. We are living through an information war where facts are being treated as collateral damage. On social media, we see two different Manipuris. One side presents a narrative of ethnic cleansing while the other speaks of illegal immigration and narco-terrorism. Both sides have their own echo chambers, but the real casualty is the nuanced, logical reality. Misinformation is being used as a weapon to prolong the conflict. When a rumor starts about an impending attack, the thousands of people rush to the streets, leading to clashes with the security forces. This reactionary cycle is exactly what militant CSO wants. It keeps the valley in a state of chaos, making it look ungovernable to the rest of the world. And the government, they contribute to this by being opaque. They don't release clear intelligence report. They don't provide a daily transparent briefing on the security situation. By keeping the people in the dark, they allow the rumors to flourish. An internet ban doesn't stop misinformation. It creates the perfect environment for it to grow. Now I have to speak to you, the person watching this video, or rather the thousands of people who are not watching this video. You are telling them that they can keep the internet banned and the rockets flying without any political cause. I am making these videos not because they are profitable, clearly they are not, but because someone has to step up. When the national media give us 30 seconds of coverage between cricket scores, it is my duty to give you 50 minutes of reality. I am not an expert in English, but I am an expert in the pain of my people. To engage, I urge you to watch, to engage and to push this message out. If the algorithm won't help us, the people must. So, what is the solution? After 3 years, it is clear that conflict management has failed. We need conflict resolution. Number one, neutralization of one side. The state must stop treating the foothill as contested territory and start treating them as part of India. Any side used to launch rocket at civilian must be neutralized, regardless of which group is behind it. Number two, accountability of CSO. Groups that claim to represent communities while their militant wings kill children must be de-recognized and held legally accountable for the violence. And number three, end the digital gap. Restore the internet, allow the people to document the truth, use technology to track the real perpetrators rather than punishing the entire citizen. Number 4, action over resignation. We don't need another president rule. We need the current state government to grow a spine. Use the state force to secure the valley fringes. Stop waiting for a neutrality that will never come from the center. Manipur is not a lost cause. It is a vibrant, sophisticated civilization that is being held hostage by a combination of militant, ill intent, and governmental incompetence. We need to think logically. We need to stop letting our emotions drive us into the trap set by the perpetrators. Justice for the two children of Tronglaubi is not just a slogan, it is the benchmark of whether India still has a soul. Stay safe, stay logical, stay loud. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe my channel, okay?